My dear champions, it was once said that the principles of success actually replicate in every single walk of life. And in today's interview, the guest I have today will exactly reflect to the same trait. Hello to my amazing champion community, all the champions watching this wonderful episode of Being Champions from all different parts of the world. I'm so damn excited to see you once again. And I have an energy house. I have a young gentleman who is someone really amazing. You'll see the white beard and say, is he a young gentleman really? But when you see the energy, when you take on the learnings, you'll know what I'm talking about. In today's episode, my dear champions, my guest is Steven, who's joining us right there from USA right now. What's really interesting about Steven is he's not just a speaker coming in to teach us a lot of things today. He himself has been a US Army war veteran. At the same time, he's a best-selling author. He has his new book, Unleash Your Humble Alpha, coming up very soon. At the same time, he's a very highly regarded, successful keynote speaker. He has been a wonderful businessman, doing millions of dollars in his sales through business. A very big hug to welcome you, Stephen.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I love that energy. You see the smile, the white teeth. That's showing something, my dear champions. There's something to seek on from the right beginning. Stephen, before we go ahead and talk a lot about the learnings from your business part of things, let's go a little bit back to your journey, being a US, being into the US Army, at the same time serving USA in the ground. And when you came back to came back as a working professional, starting your own business, how did the principles you learned over there reflect back to you?
Well, I mean, my principles I learned very early in the age. My family was religious, so we learned about being good to people, elevating others, always leaving people in a good place, things like that. And when I went to the military, basically, they tried to rip that all away from me. So the military, the military breaks you down and makes you into a machine,
Right.
and that's something that a lot of people can't deal with, and they carry it for the rest of their lives. Well, I was able to deal with that and
Mhm.
turn it into something powerful. And I used the principles, the structures, the discipline that I learned in the military in the civilian world as a business owner and an entrepreneur. And that really catapulted me into a specific demographic because I got out of the military. I was stationed in Europe, and I stayed in Europe. And so when I got out, I was a different person than every other person. I was living in Germany at the time, and the
Right.
Germans, um, I guess, weren't used to a guy like me, right? So I was very driven, very structured, very moving forward, pushing the threshold all the time, and it made me quite noted very soon. And I just went from there and ended up going from owning my own cocktail bars in Berlin, Germany, to running a British PLC with 87 locations in 9 countries as a director. And it literally happened overnight. And so what that all came from, I didn't know it at the time. Um, I didn't know it at the time, but I didn't really. It wasn't really the discipline and the structure that got me there. Um,
Mhm.
it was my belief in myself. It was that
Wow.
certainty in myself that whatever I want to achieve, I can achieve. And then that's what basically the book's all about. It's about finding your identity, your purpose, and then creating certainty through that. And certainty is amazing because certainty allows you to let go of the how you're going to do something. Because if you're certain of
Right.
it, you don't need to know how. So yeah, that's sort of the short story, I guess you could say.
Love that. Now, I want to check back on your journey back in the military as well. Would you like to recall one or two specific instances of you being out there, serving for your country, and at the same time, some really, I have heard so many times from so many people who have been into different war fields, etc., that being into one experience actually changed their worldview. Would you like to recall any such instance for yourself in person as well?
Well, I think the most impactful time in the military was when I was in Iraq, fighting in
Right.
Iraq. And
Okay.
after the ceasefire,
Uh-huh.
I was standing at a checkpoint where we would, check the vehicles going through for weapons. And there was a little girl coming from far away, and I was looking at her and I couldn't see. And she had her hands out to the sides, and I thought she was playing a game. And then when she came closer, I
Mhm.
saw that she was burnt, basically from the neck down. And they had put a dress on her to cover the burnt clothes that were on her skin. and I brought her to the medical track, and they fixed her up, and she came back out. And we had to send her back out in the desert because, you know, we couldn't take non-enemy prisoners. So if we took prisoners, if you want to call them that, we basically took them out of the combat zone and sent them to the rear to take care of them. We couldn't take civilians, so we had to send them back out in the desert. And I just felt horrible. You know, I felt like, well, you know, here we are helping this little girl, and she's coming out of Basra, which is burning right now. You know, what can I do? And I was a 23-year-old soldier with a hard, you know, with a helmet on and a flak jacket and an M16 and a 45 caliber. And I'm standing there, and I got down on my knee, and I waved her over, and I gave her a little piece of candy that I had in my grenade pockets. And she
Right.
smiled, and she smiled. And I thought, wow, you know, here she is, lost everything, burnt from head to toe, and she's smiling about a piece of candy. And that changed my life
Mm,
forever, because I said,
love that. I love that anecdote. Wow.
yeah. And I said, I never have anything to complain about, because I'll never have it this bad. And that changed my life forever. And since then, I don't complain.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah. And I gave her, I wanted to give her more. I wanted to hug her. I wanted to take her back with me to America and make her feel good. But you know, that's all the thoughts you have, but you can't do that. So I wanted to leave her with something special. And I sort of just looked at her and just gave her my love. I just gave her everything I had. And I feel like at that moment, I sort of opened a door for her to show that there's humanity out there, even in places like where there's a war. And
Right.
I hope that she carries that with her to this day. You know, I'd love to meet her again.
Amazing. I can't remember the exact name, but there's this movie I saw, which has actually a 8-year-old, 8-year-old kid who's actually serving in the combat zone. Uh, I can't exactly remember the name though. Well, let's go ahead. It's interesting. I love that story. I love, when we look at things from a, zoomed out perspective, little moments like that actually make us, feel gratitude about so many other things in life. I really love that, Stephen. Now, I like to come back to the field when you're back to business, when you're back to civilian and trying to, build big things. When you came back right from there, how did your life change? Because all of a sudden, everything that you did as a young adult right there serving the country, everything is changed, lifestyle is changed, you as a person are changed, it's much safer, but there's so many things changing. How did you get your career started right from there to where you are today?
Well, I always wanted to have a cocktail bar. So when I got out, that's what I
Okay.
did. I opened a
Uh-huh.
cocktail bar, and
Mm-hmm.
then I opened another, and a club. So a nightclub. And I was into that
Right.
scene for a while, only
Uh-huh.
about 2.5 years. And then I got headhunted by a South African PLC, and I helped them bring their chain of health clubs to Germany and then Austria. And then I got headhunted by that British PLC where I took over all of Europe, but I still had the cocktail bars and the club.
Right.
So it was like I was doing all these
Automated
things.
business.
Yeah, and I was a self-employed director, so I was, I wasn't an employee, so that really helped me out, sort of be a little bit more free, a little way I like to be. But the big change was when you're in the military, you don't have to. I don't have to say a word. You look at me, you know my
Mm-hmm.
combat patch. You see how many years I've been in, how many years I served in combat, how many awards I have, what units I were in. You know everything about me just by looking at me. And suddenly you
Right.
get out, and no one knows who you are. And it's a really strange thing, because that's part of your identity, right? So my identity was, I was a soldier, I was in Iraq, I did this, I got this, I got that. And it was really easy to operate in that field of operations, because I didn't have to say anything. And then suddenly I get
Mm.
out. I remember before I opened my bar, I got a job as a doorman at a nightclub.
Okay.
And there was a kid that came in, maybe 16 years old, wanted to come in, and I said, sorry, you got to be 18 to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, oh, get a real job, old man. And I was like, whoa, what? I mean,
That really
what?
hurts.
Yeah, because here I am, a leader of men, just got out of war, and I have a kid telling me I'm an
Mm,
old man, I'm a loser, right? So it was
mm,
difficult. It was really, really difficult. That was the most difficult part, was finding out who I really was after the military, and
mm.
that's a big part of
That
the vet.
happens to many people.
Most every single one, because
Right.
you remember that in the military you have a mission that's bigger than you, right?
Wow.
You're willing to lay your life on the line for your country.
Mm,
And then you get
mm.
out. What's the purpose, right? Where's that mission? Where's that greater than you mission? Where? It's nowhere. There is no mission that's bigger than
Mm.
you in life until you have a family and children. Then you maybe gain that back. Some people still don't get.
Right. Right,
That's where
right,
this
right.
negative vibe or this negative picture of veterans comes from. 22 veterans commit suicide every single day in America, and you see Vietnam veterans and and the long beards and the disgruntled people, and so they have this bad reputation because they're stuck in the past and they can't gain this new purpose, this new identity that they need in order to move forward, productively.
Hmm. I mean, they've already been through hell, but coming back to the real world becomes a real challenge after that.
Yeah, it's true because I know what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and how long to do it, when I'm going to eat, when I'm going to get paid. I know all that stuff in the military. And suddenly you're out and you're sort of like on your own. You're like, okay, what do I do?
Hmm.
You're literally like a child again.
Got
I remember
you.
I got out, I
Got
was
you.
like, man, I'm 18 again. Yeah, because I had to learn. I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to
Exactly.
register my electricity. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. Like none. It was crazy.
Uh-huh. Very interesting. That's a really interesting anecdote. Now, from there, getting started as a doorman, therefore starting your own chain of, cocktail bars and clubs and all that stuff, to right now, running companies that are doing millions of dollars in sales, and most importantly, inspiring people to become champion through the work that you're doing. Teaching them about business, affiliate marketing, and all that stuff. Take us through quick memory lane of how all of that happened?
Well, I fall into a lot of things because my number one strength is my network, right? So I
Right.
meet every single day. I meet probably 2 to 3 people online every single day, new people, new.
Interesting.
So I'm sort of a deal maker. So anyone who needs
Uh-huh.
anything, they come to me and I find it. Or if they need money for a project, they come to me and I find it. Matter of fact,
Uh-huh.
now we're just starting our third investment fund
Wow.
for M&A, so mergers and acquisitions in real estate. So
Uh-huh.
not only do I do business turnaround consulting, which is what I did for 20 years, I help companies come back into profit without firing people and sort of making massive changes, but actually empowering the people within the company itself to actually drive forward.
Right.
But it was always. I mean, like for instance, I worked for Mick Jagger. I worked for
Mm-hmm.
Olivia Newton-John. I worked for Andrea Bocelli. He's a famous tenor, opera singer. And I did that because I just approached them and said, I'd like to work for you. This is what I can offer. This is your problem. And here's my solution. And
Wow.
what happens is I learned a long time ago that if you present someone with a solution to a problem that that they have,
Mm-hmm.
before you ask for money, before anything, they're just like, I have no choice. I have to say yes. So
Damn.
that's how I treat every situation. And I got
Mm-hmm.
into mergers and acquisitions about a year and a half ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I crushed it. And now I coach about 50 M&A specialists from all around the world: India, Pakistan, Australia, USA, America, and I coach them on how to win the deal. Right?
That's
Not
right.
not the structure of the deal, the emotional
Uh-huh.
part of the deal. How do I win somebody over? And the way we do that, we
Exactly.
wrote about it. We wrote about it in the book Unleash Your Humble Alpha, and that is, we
Uh-huh.
call it creating space. So creating space is when you
Mm.
show up wholly and fully for someone in front of you with no preconceived notions or cookie cutter solutions and no expectations. You focus on the only thing that you can control in any conversation, and that's the intention. So you focus on
Intention.
the intention, intention of creating value by solving problems. And when you do this,
Right.
you're going to win every single time. Now, some people will say, well, I can't solve every problem. How can I do that? Well, actually, you
Uh-huh.
can. You can solve every problem. And the way you do that is people in your network who can solve the problem for them. So you're
Exactly.
always the problem. I'm a master problem solver. That's what I do. And then I got into investment funds, and now we have our third investment fund starting. We're actually starting them all three at the same time, and it's hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, in between that, I would take contracts, right? So I took a contract for a company called Laybag, and I brought them to America and to affiliate marketing, and I brought them to big box retailers in America, and we did 30 million in 6 months, or it was 50 million, I think, because we
That's
had two
right.
more products after that. So it was like 50 million in
Uh-huh.
6 or 7 months. And I helped them roll that out into America, big box retailers and stuff. So these are all things that I did only through my network. It wasn't because I was super talented or because I was, savvy. It was only because I knew the right people.
Exactly. You must be in Shark Tank, Steven. Very well. Now, I got something particularly interesting that you talked about network, right? And obviously, you said you had to start from the very scratch. You were not, you were not gifted that in your legacy itself, right? You're creating your own legacy, you're building your own network. So, to any 18-year-old, any 20-year-old watching this who want to make it big, of course, network is your net worth. But how do I get started into creating an amazing network around me?
You talk to everybody you see. Talk to everybody you see. And I don't care if it's the person in front of you at the grocery store who
Uh-huh.
doesn't have that last, 10 cents or a dollar they need to pay. You solve that problem
Right.
for them. You pay the dollar. And if it's a
Wow.
person on the street that dropped their, wallet, you pick it up and give them the wallet. If it's a business opportunity where you can solve the problem first and say, look, this is, you need this, this, and that. I have this, this, and that. Do you want to work with me? And
Hmm.
if you present a solution that solves their specific problem, not the problem you think they have, but the
Hmm.
problem that they actually have. I mean, you can go to, for instance, I'll go to a networking event, which I don't like, but when I do go to these events, I'll go around to I walk in the room, boom, I'm here, right? I walk around, hello, Stephen, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Great glasses. I love your jacket. I love, whatever it is that really notices that I notice for real. And then
Uh-huh.
I'll just go a quick around and then I'll go in specific people and I'll meet them. And as I'm there meeting people, I'm talking to other people. What do you do? How do you do it? Da da da. And they tell me, I'm like, hey, did you meet Joe over there? I just met him. He does what you do. Why don't you guys meet? And I'll start
Uh-huh.
connecting people at the event as
Uh-huh.
well, right?
Uh-huh.
And remember that when someone asks you what you do, they don't really
Uh-huh.
care. They just
Okay.
want that 10-second, what do you do? So they can start talking about themselves again, right?
Ah.
Yes. So you need to let them talk and listen what they're saying and hear what they mean. Right. So sometimes what they say could mean something completely different. So
That's right.
there's a simple prospect for that, and that's called PPR:
Uh-huh.
problem, product, resolution. Which problem do I solve? What's the product that solves that problem, and what's the resolution look like? Right. What does my life look like
Amazing.
afterwards? So if someone says, Steve, what do you do? I would start with a question. Well, do you know how a lot of CEOs, they have their power from their position? And you're like, yeah, exactly. They say, hey, I'm the CEO. Well, we have a program and a book that we brought out that allows them to integrate their true identity through all areas of life so that they come out a better person, a better leader, and a better family member. That's it. That's
Wow.
all I need to say. That's it. And then I say, what did you say again? And then you start talking about you again, and I'm done. That's networking. Networking isn't you
Exactly.
vomiting all over everybody, telling you 100 times, and oh, you have a family-owned business. We did. No one cares. No one cares.
Hmm.
And then you have to realize that business cards. I had a guy come to me and said, "Hey, I'm going to this 3-day event. Do you
Hmm.
think 1,000 business cards are enough?" And
Hmm.
I said, "Well, calculate it. 8 hours a
Uh-huh.
day. 8 hours a
Okay.
day. 5 minutes with each person. 3 days. No, I mean it's way too much. I mean,
That's
unless
right.
you're just going to go like this and pass them out. What's the point? I said it's better to have a relationship with one person out of an event than 300 people with no relationship.
Wow.
Yeah,
Love that.
yeah.
Amazing. Now, Stephen, I could relate with you so much. There's so much to seek because when I started my journey when I was 16, I would literally go into these conferences and meetings because I had no one to talk to. And I would reach out to them saying, hi, this is me, Vaibhav. I'm from this and this is what I want to do. This is how I landed to my television show that I'm running right now, Stephen. I found the number of CEO. I just gave him a ring. I visited his office and I kept going for 1 month. And that's how I started my television show when I was 17. I'm 18 right now. I run my startup company TV show, and I've spoken to teens from 51 countries, and exactly what you're telling is true. To all the champions watching this, this is actually true. I'll quickly recall something happened 2 days back, Steven. I was having my hair cut, and I had this barber who was cutting, and I have this habit of talking to people, hearing their story. I found out that there's this 42-year-old gentleman who's cutting my hairs. Now, here's the fun part. He came from a background where he did not have even slippers. He was that poor, right? And then he got started with his journey. He started studying astrophysics, right? Which is super rare in Nepal. That hardly 100 students in the whole, hardly single college that teaches astrophysics in Nepal. He got over there. He's completing his studies. Right now, he's going to UK to study further for his astrophysics. And for a part time to help his living and feed his family, he's cutting hairs at the same time, right? And the way that it's just one example, the way we carve into the once I talk to him, there's a different level of understanding I have about struggle and trying to make it big. And at the same time, there's so much I can learn from in future, something related to physics I can reach out. And at the same time, Stephen, what I found out is, when you keep on stumbling upon people like this, something really amazing happens. I
Yeah.
really love what you said with that. And right now, let's talk about your wonderful book that is coming on. Let's talk a little bit about that, what it stands for, and how it could help young individuals or business aspirants.
Okay. So it's called Unleash Your Humble Alpha. Yeah.
Okay.
And we take you through identity. Who are you really? And we work with a 2-word moniker. Like my 2-word moniker is powerful connector. So that's basically
Okay.
my personality of everything that I do, all the people I know, everything I do. The one thing that stands out to everybody is my powerful connection possibilities. So that's my identity. So when I know that, I can step into any room, any situation, any realm and own it. Why? Because my purpose is
Mhm.
identified and defined through my identity. It isn't my identity is here, my purpose is here. It's a straight line. And once you
Okay.
have your identity straight and your purpose straight,
Mhm.
your identity is your identity is amplified. And so this is where you have people walking into a room without saying a word and they own the room. People's like, whoa, who's that? That's because they
That's
knew who
right.
they are, they know what they can do, they know their capabilities and what kind of impact they can have. And so
Hmm.
the book teaches you how to do this. And that all leads to that one thing, and that is certainty. And again, certainty is so powerful because if I'm always worried about where I'm going or how I'm going to get there or what I'm going to do to get there, I'm not living now. And I'm not
Mhm.
100% present in this situation that I am right now. So I can add the most value, solve the problems, have impact. And people talk all the time about, well, we need to, global warming and war and all this kind of stuff. And they're always outward bound. They're always outward bound, looking at where they can have impact way, way out there in the big world. Instead of the only true change that you can have is in your world.
That's
That's where
right.
change comes from. So that
Hmm.
direct line of impact, when you're looking at getting involved in something, do you have a direct line of impact from you to the person or to the situation where you can facilitate change? If not, look for it. Don't go out there trying to figure out how to change the world, because you need to change your world first. People say all the
Exactly.
time, oh, you need to recycle. I'm like, do you recycle?
Uh-huh.
Well, no, okay. Then, so recycle first and come back and talk to me. Right. So that's sort of my thoughts on all that.
Amazing. Amazing. And when is this book coming out? How can anyone who's interested get into the book and seek learnings about it?
It's already out. It's on Audible. It's on Amazon. It's on Kindle. It's Unleash Your Humble Alpha,
Okay.
and it's also a college course. So it's been now accepted by Forbes Business School MBA
Right.
program as a part of
Uh-huh.
their curriculum. We have University of San
Wow.
Diego looking at it, and we have University of Colorado looking at it as well. So it's a
Amazing.
college certificate program in some of those, and the other ones it's actually full curriculum. So it's incredible. The book really took off. It's doing really well. We have a movement for the veterans called Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment, and
Okay.
that's have, right. Humble Alpha Veteran Empowerment means have. You can have it all, right, as a veteran.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
we don't only work with veterans, but we work with a lot of veterans. I have a Facebook group of 15,000 veterans, veteran
Wow.
entrepreneurs, and we have another group of paid veteran entrepreneurs who we coach every week as well. So the book is incredibly powerful. We have on Clubhouse every Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We have a book
Uh-huh.
club where my co-author and myself, we speak about the book on Clubhouse.
I'm
So you can
joining you
listen in.
tomorrow.
Okay, great. Do it. And it's hosted by two people from the Breakfast with Champions. Funny enough, it's called Breakfast with
Wow.
Champions. I'm in it right now. Actually,
Uh-huh.
I'm in it every day for 5 hours, and that's where I've made 13,500 new contacts in the last 3 months just from Clubhouse.
Amazing.
And
Amazing.
we sell like 10, 15, 20 books a day. If I get into a single conversation, that goes up to 30 to 40 books a day just on Clubhouse.
Damn.
Yeah, I know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That requires a lot of skill. Amazing. Amazing. Well, Steven, we are in the final part of today's interview now, and I have a surprise for you. Do you like surprises?
I love surprises.
Oh yeah. Well, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna run a rapid fire round, but it's gonna be a little different. I'm gonna throw random words to you. This could be as random as a pencil and as specific as humble alpha, and you need to respond to it within 6 seconds in a maximum of 6 words. And I'll tell you very honestly, Stephen, we had everyone from world champion of public speaking to a few best-selling authors, Olympic champions coming in the show and talking about. But in this segment, it becomes really fierce. It becomes really interesting. So, are you ready for it?
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Oh yeah, let's go for it. So, first word for you is chocolates.
Is what chocolate?
That's right.
Chocolate. It's something I like to eat very much.
Money,
It's energy,
affiliate,
a way to make money from someone else's work.
veteran,
Powerfully. That's a good one. That's a good one. I should know that one.
Let's go to the next one. Success.
No. Powerfully humbled.
Okay, success.
It comes from within.
Humble alpha.
The one book that's going to change the paradigm of leadership.
Wabhav.
What was it?
Wabhav. That's my name.
Oh, okay. An amazing guy that is much further than I was at that age.
Thank you so much, Stephen. That's the word for you, Stephen.
Stephen.
That's right.
Ever charging forward, never finished.
Networking.
The key to success.
Business.
Make it your own.
Funding.
You can get it anywhere.
Life.
Quality of life.
Wife.
Amazing. My rock.
Dreams.
Every day, all day.
Cream.
Cream.
That's right.
I love it in coffee.
Amazing. That was amazing. You made it, Stephen. The flow you had was unbreakable. I was trying to wrap around, but yeah, it was fun talking to you. There's so much to seek from your journey. If there's one thing I'm probably going to remember as long as I have senses, is the story you shared about that little kid right there in Iraq. How, how being grateful about least of the things matter. Thank you so much for being with us today. Our young champions must be so damn inspired by your journey. Is there anything specific you would like to share at the very end right now?
Just follow me on Facebook, Stephen Kuhn Official. And, keep in touch. I do a daily live video called The Daily Purge. And
That's
it's
right.
about 3 to 10 minutes. And I'm on episode 620. So yeah, I've been
Amazing.
doing it for 620 days. Yeah. So just join us. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of stuff going on. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Stephen. And to all the champions, do check it out. I cannot wait to see you in the next week of being champions. But until then, remember that you're one step away from becoming a champion, and that is getting started to becoming a champion itself. I'm so excited to see you next week only on Being Champions with Vaibhav Nahata.